Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Unit 4 of Grade 12 Theory. We're technically in Section 3 of the book, and we're talking about triads. And we talked about triads last year, if you remember from your Grade 11 year. We did an introduction to basic triads, major, minor, that kind of thing, and as well as some basic intervals, some basic inversions. So we're going to review some of that in this unit. And we're also going to take it a little bit of a step further and talk about seventh chords. So first off, a basic review. This is from last year, so hopefully it's at least somewhat familiar. Okay, the simplest form of a chord is a triad. Okay, triad, of course, meaning three. Triangle, triceratops, whatever. Okay, there are three notes in a basic triad, in a basic chord, which is called a triad. It consists of a root note, okay, which is sort of the bottom of the triad, with a third and a fifth on top. An interval of a third and a fifth above the root note. Okay, there are several different types of triads, and there are in fact 4 types of triads. Just like there are 4 different types of intervals with your basic intervals, you can have major, minor, augmented, diminished. Okay, perfect's in there too, but we don't do perfect triads. A major triad has a major third and a perfect fifth, and they sound just like this. A major triad sounds just like this. From C, in this case, C, E, G. You'll hear them just like this. Okay, the interval of a major third and a perfect fifth. Okay, and all 3 together. It's your standard major chord. And in terms of naming the chord, we just use an uppercase letter, in this case a letter C, because the C is the root note. So an uppercase letter C is the name for the chord. If you're a guitar player, you might recognize that as just the C chord. You play a C shape on your guitar, and so those are the 3 notes that are coming out: C's, E's, and G's. So moving on, we're going to check out a minor triad. And a minor triad uses the only difference is that it has a minor third. In this case, as you can see on the page, we have a minor third, and we maintain the perfect fifth. So in this case, C, E minor, and G. All right, that's sort of that dark sound, and it's the interval of the minor third that creates that darkness, that eerie sort of quality. The naming convention for that is just a lowercase m beside the root name. Okay, so uppercase C, lowercase m, which signifies minor. Now moving on to the weirdo the weirdo triad, the ones that sound a little off. We have an augmented triad, which has a major third and an augmented fifth. This one sounds kind of jarring to the ears. Have a listen. So when I play an augmented triad, it sounds like this: C, E, G sharp. Right? It starts by sounding great. The C and the E sounds like a major. Okay, nice and pleasant. And then we hit that G sharp. It's often used in some sort of spooky scenes in movies. And partly because we have basically stacked major thirds, right? We have a major third from C to E, and we technically have a major third from E to G sharp. Okay, or between C and G sharp, it's an augmented fifth. Okay. The naming convention to the right: augmented triads are usually labeled with a plus sign or the 3 letters AUG. Okay, so that's your convention for that. And finally at the bottom we have diminished triads. This one's also kind of eerie and spooky, but a little more clashy, I think. A diminished triad will sound like this: C, E flat, and G flat. Also quite jarring to the ears, right? The convention for naming is a little degree sign, a little zero, or what is more common actually is uppercase C and then DIM, diminished. Okay, so I usually go for the AUG and DIM because that makes it just abundantly clear what we're talking about. Sometimes the plus sign for augmented can be confused with the symbol for a major interval, like up here. Right, so just to avoid any confusion at all, I tend to go with the AUG and the DIM, but it really is up to you. You can certainly use whatever system you like. Okay, so the bottom of this page and the next page are really just practice doing these, recognizing these intervals, and doing them on paper. Okay, I mean, the reason I gave them to you on a keyboard was just so you can hear the quality of the sounds. You're not doing any listening assignments with the theory stuff, but it is good to hear what they sound like. Okay, so let's do. Maybe I'll take you through one of each of these questions. So identify each of these triads as major, minor, augmented, or diminished, and let's go over to, I don't know. Let's go this one down here in the bottom corner: D flat, F, and A flat. All right, so I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to check this one out. One thing to be careful of here, guys: just because you see flats does not mean things have been raised or lowered out of the key signature. Don't let it throw you off, okay? You still have to think about what is in the key signature of the lower note, all right? You need to know what these intervals are. What kind of third do we have? What kind of fifth do we have? All right, and if you remember from last year, the first interval you should look at is not actually the third, it's the fifth. What kind of fifth do we have? If we have an augmented fifth, it's an augmented triad. If we have a diminished fifth, it's a diminished triad. Immediately, you know it has to be. If that fifth is a perfect fifth, then you can go in and check out the third and see if it's major or minor third, and that'll tell you if it's a major or minor triad. All right. So the headwork here is just, first we're going to check out the fifth, and see what kind of fifth it is. In the key of D flat major, you know your key signatures. You know that D flat major has B, E, A, D, G, 5 flats, right? And A flat is, of course, one of those flats. Battle ends and down goes. There's our key signature for D flat major. A flat is part of the key signature. It's a perfect fifth. Okay. So being a perfect fifth, we now look at the third. What kind of third is this? D flat to F. That is a major third. So this is a major interval. This is a D flat major interval. I mean, D flat major triad. Okay. You know your key signature. You figure out the intervals. It tells you what kind of triad you're working with. All right. So you can do the same thing for all the other 7 of those. Moving on to the next page. And you're really just using triads in different ways, right? So when we go into this first one, write major triads above these notes, using accidentals where necessary. Well, the only accidentals you'll need are the accidentals that exist within the key signature of this root note. Okay, if they're giving you the root note, you have to put the third and the fifth. And they want major triads, which means perfect fifth, major third. Okay, so first of all, you have to know what's in the key signature, right? D major, as you can probably figure out real quick, has the 2 sharps, F and C. Okay, so what kind of F do I need according to my key signature? I need an F sharp. And what kind of A do I need, the fifth? Well, it's an A natural, because my key signature only has those 2 sharps in it. Okay, I can erase my key signature if I want, and I'm good to go. That's how you can do those ones. Write minor triads. Well, you can do the same thing. You're going to write perfect fifths and minor thirds above those roots. Okay. Write augmented triads. Let's pick one for here. I don't know. Let's go with. Well, you know what? Let's go with D again, because we just thought in D major. D major has the 2 sharps, right? I can just scribble them in here so I can know my thinking. What did I say? Augmented? Augmented triads. So an augmented triad has a major third and an augmented fifth. My major third is still here, the F sharp. And now my augmented fifth, instead of A natural, which is the perfect, I need an A sharp, raised out of the key signature. I can get rid of my, oops, I can get rid of my, or not. I won't get rid of my key signature. So I need F sharp and A sharp to write that augmented de-augmented triad. Write diminished triads above these root notes. Let's go, I don't know, how about, we'll jump into the first one, E. Okay, a diminished triad means I need a diminished third, and a minor third, and a diminished fifth. I need those two intervals. Okay, so the third is the G, the fifth is the B. That's the easy part. What's it, and what is normally in my key signature of E major? Well, normally I have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. Okay, so as you can see from the key signature, G's are normally sharp, and B's are normally natural. So to make a major third minor, I lower it. G sharps have to become G naturals. Okay, and perfect fifths to the B natural, I need a diminished fifth, so I have to lower it. By 1/2 step, I make it a B flat. All right, and that's the thought work that you should be going into writing these diminished triads. Okay, name each of the following triads with chord symbols above using standard naming conventions. So you're going to write two things when you label these above the staff. You're going to write in uppercase the root note. Okay, so that's obviously brain dead easy. C, B, E flat, E, etc. all the way through. And then you're going to write the quality of that triad. Is it major, minor, augmented, diminished? Okay, MAJ, MIN, AUG, or DIM. Okay, take care, guys. Give it a go. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Take care, guys. See ya.